the past 9 years, 8 years as Attorney General and 1 as Governor, I've tried to uphold a vision of progressive politics that would rebuild New York and create opportunity for all. We sought to bring real change to New York, and that will continue.
But we are hearing there was evidence caught on a federal wiretap that the governor was involved in a prostitution ring.
He called this press conference very quickly. In fact, he called it so quickly he barely gave the media time to get there.
Today, I want to briefly address a private matter.
All that New York Governor Eliot Spitzer will acknowledge, at least publicly, is that he crossed the line between right and wrong.
Here's a guy, Mr. No-Nonsense Attorney General. I'll arrest him, beat him up, and arrest him again. That was the campaign he ran on. That was his platform. Show me a crook, I'll beat him up and arrest him, and beat him up again. Yeah. I hate illegal things. That was also his campaign.
I hate illegal
things.
Yeah.
And now he's partying up with whores.
According to the FBI, Spitzer was client 9 of the ring.
It says client 9 asked what Kristen looked like, needed to be reminded what Kristen looked like. It says that he was told she was American, petite, very pretty brunette, 5'5", 105 pounds. Talks about a conversation that, Kristen allegedly had with a supervisor. The supervisor allegedly said that it was believed that he would ask you to do things that you might not think were safe. Do we really have to go any further than that? I don't think so. I certainly am nauseated by the whole thing. So, there you have it.
I do not believe that politics in the long run is about individuals. It is about ideas, the public good, and doing what is best for the state of New York.
Now, this is what you need in a governor. At a time of crisis, he has the bearing and the fortitude to come on in a public forum. It's just my show, but nonetheless.
Sort of.
Eliot Spitzer? Good afternoon, Governor. How can I help you?
Hi, everybody. It's me, the Love Gov. I just want everyone to know everything's just fine. And I look forward to continuing to whore it up in Albany.
What did he say? I'm sorry, what? Governor, what did you say? Hello?
I will not be taking questions. Thank you very much. I will report back to you in short order.
The charges are especially shocking since the New York Democrat had built a reputation fighting corruption on Wall Street while he served as Attorney General. Time magazine even called him Crusader of the Year. His political star rose and he was elected in 2006.
I pledge to toil each and every day so as not to disappoint the hard-working people of this state who have placed their trust in this future.
For now, Spitzer is calling this a private matter.
I think the American people have had it, but particularly when it comes to the hypocrisy of a prosecutor who goes after prostitution rings and then is involved in prostitution himself.
He's preaching goodness and he's supposed to be, he's supposed to show it.
Shamed his family, and the state of New York.
But you would just expect someone who has always attempted to maintain the high road and expected that of everyone else around him, not to have fallen into something like this.
Prosecuted at least on 2 different occasions, one time on Staten Island, my old district, where he spoke very dramatically about the impact of prostitution rings and ties to organized crime, etc. So there's a history of him fighting prostitution rings, so that's why I think New York is so stunned.
But I have disappointed and failed to live up to the standard I expected of myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been thinking about something. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's too soon to be hitting on Mrs. Eliot Spitzer?
We're very, very unfortunate, and I feel very badly for the governor's wife, for his children. The important thing for the people of New York State is that people in office do the right thing.
We're talking about a governor that has a lot of political enemies. Eliot Spitzer is someone who has just not rocked the boat, he has smashed the boat. If he's caught on a federal wiretap, arranging for the services of a prostitute, and when you dot all the I's and cross all the T's, or whatever way you want to say this, and he ended up in Washington, and this woman traveled to Washington, and he is basically admitting to this, his political career is over, period.
it just seems as though, how can you lead two polar opposite lives like that, especially in office?
Well, it goes to the charge against him that's been made for the last year, which is that he's an arrogant guy, is that he's been kind of professing one thing and living by a different standard. And we have to remember that this is a man who is involved in another scandal and has been for the last year. There are 3 separate investigations into the alleged misuse of state troopers to smear a political enemy. And the allegation then was that he was living a double standard, and now you'll hear it again.
Over the course of my public life, I have insisted, I believe correctly, that people, regardless of their position or power, take responsibility for their conduct. I can and will ask no less of myself. For this reason, I am resigning from the office of governor.